Welcome to the DNA Advantage podcast, where you can learn facts about your DNA that can help you live a healthier, longer life, doing all the activities you dream of doing. If you want to gain more control over your health and the factors that influence it, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Lisa Witherow, and today let's talk about a somewhat hidden aspect of health, which is belief. Everything that we do in life is built on certain beliefs that we have. I'm not talking about just believing that you're going to be healthy. It goes a lot deeper than that and can have lifelong impact on not just ourselves, but our children and anyone that we have an influence over, even friends that we have discussions with. This is a really important topic for everyone, and if you give it the time that it deserves, it could call into question a lot of beliefs that you've had for quite a while, and it could really benefit you. On a foundational level, what we believe in any area of our lives, we commit to. It could be believing that we're a good student, and then we commit to the scholarly things, doing more research, doing more work. When it comes to school, when it comes to being a good student, it can make the difference when we believe that we are a good student. If we believe that we are a good athlete, putting forth the effort to develop the skill and become even better, having that belief can make all the difference. We essentially pour our thoughts and our energies into what we believe. We point ourselves in the direction of what we believe in. That influences where we end up. It influences how well we do and where we make a difference in the world. It's not about believing and magically getting the results. I don't want to give that impression. I understand there is some value in belief and how that can contribute to an outcome, but it's more about how we shape and mold our lives around our beliefs, what we do in honor of our beliefs. And that is what really shapes our lives, not just our health. So this applies across the board. It isn't just about health. The reason that I feel it's so impactful when it comes to health is because we have so many influences, and we'll talk about that towards the end. When it comes to health, we absolutely need to have our health for all of our life's goals and everything that we do. If our health is suffering, we can't give attention to athletics or scholarly efforts. Even raising our kids is going to take a hit if we aren't healthy. The way that we think about our health is very important. What our health will be, what we expect it to be, what does it require, what can we contribute to our health, do we have any control over it? When we think about all of those questions, we may be able to give a quick answer, but we really need to think about it. What do we believe about our health? Do we believe that we have influence? Do we have an expectation? I don't know if any of you heard me talk about it before, but when I was expecting my first child, I had a moment of conflict because I was so excited to have a child, but I felt really conflicted and I didn't know why. And I realized it was because I expected to die young. And it was a subconscious belief. I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't feeling darkness around it. It was just a fact. That's because my mom died when she was 29. And it wasn't until I was expecting my first child that I had to confront that belief and challenge that belief because it was no longer going to work for me. I feel like that was a gift for me to realize and be able to shift my belief and really address it in a different way, give myself the benefit of thinking differently. And it didn't happen overnight. I had to continue to revisit that and give myself an opportunity to work through it and appreciate where were my points of control in my health at that time and what could I do to influence it. This was before DNA was sequenced, but it was looking at things like diet and lifestyle and environment. How can I influence those things? Because those things definitely influenced my health. And I was able to reconcile my beliefs and come to a conclusion that I had much more control than I had believed as I was growing up. And that was really powerful, and it made a whole lot of difference for me. It gave me a sense of relief and a sense of control that I had never had before. When it comes to fitness, is fitness valued? Is it something that we perceive to be attainable, or is it just too hard to do, too much work? When we are growing up, we have a certain belief system. We see other people in our lives, in our families, and if it's not something that we feel is us, we may ignore it or think that it doesn't pertain to us. So it's important to give ourselves the opportunity to think through what fitness does for us and really question what we've been believing. When it comes to health decline, do we expect decline? Do we think that that's just a normal part of aging and that that's something that we have to deal with? If so, at what age is that going to happen? When are we going to have that happen, and are we able to do anything about it? I know a lot of people who look at decline as part of the process of aging, and there's nothing that can be done, and they just accept whatever comes. If it causes limitations, they accept the limitations. And that's not something that I would recommend. Questioning your beliefs at that point is very valid. A few examples of this: if we believe that health is just based on luck, it's very unlikely that we're going to do anything to influence our health in a positive way. If we feel like it's all about luck and we have no real influence over things, there isn't a lot we can do or that we can say that makes a difference. If we are looking at luck as what we're relying on, it's really sad. It's almost like we have to deal with the cards that we're dealt with. We have to accept the inevitable. And those are all phrases I don't have in my life because I can't rely on what preceded me. That would definitely put me in a bad situation. Both my parents died relatively young. My mom was 29, my dad was 53. When we think about how we can reframe our belief system, reframe how we are living our lives and moving toward what we want. What do we want our lives to be? And then what level of health is required to perform at that level? When I say perform too, I don't mean athletic performance. I don't necessarily mean any level of fitness performance, although fitness is involved. We have to look at what do we need our bodies to do and perform in a way to achieve the goal of our lives. So if we have a goal of traveling a lot, we need to be able to manage altitude changes. We need to be able to recover from time differences. If we're traveling across the world, there are time differences. We need to support our circadian rhythm, make sure that we are staying healthy and our immune system is strong because we're going into new environments with new challenges for our immune systems. We need to be able to be fit and mobile, or we will end up having to cut our travel short in our lifetime and not travel after a certain age because we don't have the mobility to travel. It's things like that that we really need to think through rather than just looking at it as our bodies are going to serve us to whatever extent they serve us and not giving ourselves the opportunity to have an influence over that. If we believe that we are going to decline naturally, and that's just a normal process of life, we're not going to feel empowered to improve, so we don't do anything. And then we experience decline, just as we expected. And that is unfortunate because people will say to me, it proved me right that I expected to have decline. But in fact, based on our beliefs, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. We can't accept that. If we believe that we'll never be fit and only athletes achieve fitness, we're not as likely to spend time trying to build our muscles or improve our fitness level. And the perception is what really limits us. It's not the fact that we'll never be fit because we aren't physically able to be fit. It's because we haven't put forth the effort because we don't believe that it's going to help us. If we believe that a condition exists in our family, we're less likely to change factors that could really make a difference. To compound things, we often think of preventative measures as testing. The bad news is testing is not prevention. It's early detection. It's touted as prevention and preventative medicine. It's a test. It's telling us what our current status is. It's telling us how far down the road are we. Are we in trouble? Or are we approaching trouble? Or are we not in trouble? That's all it tells us. It's not preventing anything. What we need to be able to do is appreciate what prevention really is. And that is eating healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, giving ourselves adequate hydration and nutrition, and supplement where we need to, and give ourselves stress relief and balance and sleep. It's amazing how these are the things that are free in a lot of cases, and yet they're not supported in the mainstream. We may also believe that symptoms are normal, and when we believe that symptoms are normal, what happens is we either accept them as part of our lives and part of who we are, or when they get bad enough, we cover them up. That's like burying our problems. We know what happens to that. Our problems resurface every time. And that's an important lesson to learn about health, because when it comes to symptoms, how many times have we taken an ibuprofen or something along those lines, and it may give us some temporary relief of the pain, but the problem still surfaces. That knee is still swollen, or we can't get up those stairs as easily as we used to. It's not solving the root cause, and we need to think of it differently. Our beliefs about health, decline, fitness, symptoms, disease, whether we get our disease from family or whether we are dealing with the devil of a disease, like how it just attacks us, all of those beliefs we have to challenge. This isn't unusual, and I'm not pointing any fingers. I want everyone to appreciate that we have the ability to change these beliefs, and where they came from was out of good intentions in most cases. With our family members who taught us that we have to deal with the cards we're dealt, and we have to accept our weaknesses and deal with our symptoms and things like that, they meant well. I'm not at all trying to shame your relatives or you, and I dealt with the exact same thing. I was lucky or unlucky enough to experience the loss of my parent, and I feel lucky in that it taught me lessons that I would have otherwise never gained. And so being able to appreciate what we've witnessed, what we have been taught, and the standards in our society and how those have established our beliefs gives us even more reason to start questioning the beliefs, especially when it comes to the standards in our society, because we have to ask who is being served by those standards. Is it truly the community that is being served by these standards? Because ultimately, we have to look at the numbers. We have to look at the statistics and see our health has never been worse. The rate of obesity has never been higher. And the rate of disease has never been higher in history. So we have to appreciate the raw data and the facts of the case, and then be able to move forward in questioning how we want things to impact our lives and how we want our beliefs to shift in a way that will actually serve us. The conventional healthcare model is the main driver of this thinking that I'm talking about, all the beliefs that I've been reviewing. And we need to get comfortable challenging those beliefs and challenging where we're headed with our own health. Instead of thinking of health as luck, we need to appreciate all that goes into health, what supports our bodies, and how we can compensate for vulnerabilities. How can we compensate for deficiencies? And how can we overcome the toxicities? We need to make sure that we're detoxing. We need to give our bodies what they need. Fitness isn't just about weight loss or athleticism. It involves cardiac health and good circulation and mobility. We need to be able to give ourselves those things in order to achieve our goals in life, to have an active elderly life, to be able to go into our lives with intention and not just acceptance of whatever may become our future. We need it to be something that is taking us where we want to go. Decline isn't something we need to just accept. We need to challenge the belief that our parents didn't live past a certain age, or that they ended up in a wheelchair or had diabetes or became saddled with dementia. We need to be able to appreciate that that is a condition of not only their bodies, but their environment. And there was a process of degradation through disease that presented due to deficiencies, toxicities, and imbalances. Symptoms are the way that the body tells us something is imbalanced or toxic. We have to look at how disease really does affect us. It doesn't attack us. It is a susceptibility of our bodies that then are reaping the results of having a deficiency or that imbalance or that toxicity. So we need to be able to address those proactively. Again, the testing that they talk about, that's preventative care, that they're willing to cover with insurance, it's a test. How is that preventing anything? If I go for a test today, does that mean that I'm not going to get breast cancer if I go get a mammogram? I think not. And that's the bad news. But the good news is we have to change our belief system and rewind and say, okay, how am I going to actually prevent? Do some research, figure it out, do your DNA test. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what your body actually needs to detoxify. We can look at DNA and understand what your skill level, what is your body's capability of detoxifying, and compensate where there may be some faltering. Figure out, how does my body absorb nutrients? What nutrients am I deficient in or likely to become deficient? And then if you want to do testing, I'm not against the testing. That can serve a purpose, but it's not necessarily, well, it's not preventing anything. It's giving us information. And it can be very valuable information. But it is unacceptable that it is being touted as preventative medicine. When we are looking at our life and we can appreciate the good that people intended as they taught us, and I'm talking about our family members, I'm not talking about the societal norms and conventional medicine, but we have to appreciate our relatives intended to do good for us. And they wanted to teach us how to take care of ourselves. They wanted to teach us all about being good people and living good lives. Unfortunately, they were misled, and things have gone down a different track in the last 50 years that could have never been anticipated by our predecessors. So really getting a sense of what it is that we need to do to stay healthy is our obligation. It is absolutely our responsibility. And we need to do it before things go down the wrong road. If it already has started to detour and go down the wrong road, it's not too late. It's just going to take more time to recoup. Appreciating what your belief system is around health. Take 20 minutes to think about what you believe you have control over, what you believe you can contribute to, and challenge that. Let's have a call, jump into the group and have discussion, but it really is important because I want everyone to be thinking about what your beliefs have been and what you want them to be, or what you feel they can be based on this discussion. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today and to think about these things. I would love for you to be involved in a discussion with your family members or with group members here or with me, because I want to know that you are giving this some credence and that you are moving forward towards beliefs that are going to support your health, support your goals, and keep you in the game. Because it goes sideways when your health goes sideways. There's no way of avoiding that. There's no way to just put your life on hold and address your health and come back to things as they were before. Things will not wait for you. And so you need to take care of your health now and make sure that you are in a preventative mode. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks so much for joining me to learn about DNA health. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you'd like to join my free community where we delve into more details about DNA, just click Community below.